drinking, beer swinging, hell raising.
All right, everybody. I am Steve. This is A is for Alice, B is for Bob, and C is for the community. Because I am showing off to you, fellow members, what I got this first half of November. I'm going embryonic style. Brian tends to split his up. He's buying a lot. Big bucks, Brian. But you know what? I ended up getting a lot this first half of the month already, and I know I've got a lot coming, and I've still got a record collector show to go to later this month. So I figured I would copy Brian a little. Embryonic Steve. Who knew? If you want to know, I changed my intro to the Choir Boys. Their very fine album from 2024, Wardour Street. That is the song, well, it's the opening of it, of Like It or Not. If you like your Rolling Stones, you know, your dirty, gritty Rolling Stones, and if you like Faces, that kind of music, you know, it's got that kind of swagger, you would like the Choir Boys. Very fine album. To me, they have never made a bad album. I have their entire discography. I don't know how many studio albums is it at this point, 12 maybe. I love every album. So let's get down to it here. As the saying goes, support your local sheriff. Well, that's what I'm doing here because I am supporting some local VC, not local, but some VC members who have put out some very fine albums. First up, you know them, you love them. Speaking of sheriff, let's tie this in. PC 31, the Vinyl Policeman, his very fine album of Gods and Men. Mike, I got to tell you. Now, Mike's a big punk rock fan. I am not at all. I don't know if there's one punk rock song I like. And I expected this to be, I figured it was going to be punk. It's not punk at all. Because you know what, to me, it has melody. It has earworms. And I say, damn good job, Mike. I really like this album. I'm not just saying it because Mike's maybe watching this, maybe not, or I'm not just saying because he's a member of the VC. But first couple listens, my favorite songs were Yellow Door and Witness. Initially, really liked them. Then after a couple more playings, then I thought, okay, Rebel Dance, because that's a really good pop tune, okay? But I will say this, he picked the perfect album closer, Kingdom Come. It is my favorite album, or my favorite song on the album by far. I say this, Mike, hallelujah indeed. I don't know if I'm reading anything into this. This album seems to have a very, I'm not going to say an undertone, it's a very heavy overtone. It's very spiritual. The lyrics are printed inside. I'm encouraging you to go ahead and order it. I will leave a link to Mike's website for the band and also for his channel. And Mike also sent me on the very official looking like Gods and Men stationery. Hi, Steve. Many thanks for buying and supporting us. I hope you enjoy. And yes, I do owe you a beer. The postage is brutal. You know what, Mike? It was well worth it because I really do like this album. No BS there. All right, moving on to another VC kind of connection. Pat, if you've ever watched his channel, Close to the Edge, he's over in Ireland. Really nice guy. I've done a couple of videos with him now. And I did one probably about a month ago. And it was me and two other gentlemen. Well, his sidekick, Kevin, who's there a lot, he was on there. But also then two other gentlemen, Paul J. Bolger and Mick Wall of the band Hounds. Now, after the recording was over, we started talking. And as you do on those kind of things. And they were talking about their band a little. And Paul said, you know what, Steve? Give me your address. Give it to Pat. And I'll send you our latest CD. Once again, no bullshit. really like this album. Man, opening track, Scratch That Itch. Mick is laying down a really nasty little dirty guitar lick. And I'm going to say it's an album where if you were going to say, hey, give me an album with a great opener and a great closer, the closing song, Death of a Person Unknown, epic track. That is a fine piece of songwriting craftsmanship. Really, really love that song. I think it clocks in right around 8 minutes. I would encourage you to get this. It's upbeat rock, little heavier at times, but really, really good stuff. I will leave a link to their YouTube channel. And so Paul also wrote me a note here. Hey, Steve, here's the CD I promised you on Pet Show a while back. Mick and I are in Forge Hounds. We put out the album last year and are working on a follow-up as I write. Hope you like it. I do. I also included one of my own CDs. It's another project that he did called Pillarstone. It's coming out next year, but I got myself an advanced copy. This is a little softer in tone. Standout track for me, September Sun. Fantastic song. So I will leave a link to their band also. Thank you again, Paul. And speaking of Paul, vocally Paul, while I'm listening to those two albums, I'm thinking, man, he reminds me of somebody. He's not quite as raspy or gravelly. Sounds like gravel. As Ricky Warwick from Black Star Riders. This is their latest album, which I just got. And that's what made me think of it. I'm like, hey, you know what? It's been a while since I listened to Black Star Riders. And I've got everything they had put out up until this. And then I saw they put this out. And you know what? This is the first album they did without Scott Gorham. Because if you know your rock and roll, Black Star Riders are born from the ashes of Thin Lizzy. Scott Gorham put the band back together. They went out on one small tour as Thin Lizzy. Thankfully, I got to see them here in Chicago. And then they became Black Star Riders after that. They're missing Scott Gorham. To me, there's not a memorable song on this. But Paul, what it is, I think it's Paul's phrasing. Reminds me a lot of Ricky Warwick. Going back to this very same show with Pat, Close to the Edge, one of the videos I did with him was for albums from the 80s. We ranked 6 albums. There were 2 albums that I really wasn't all that familiar with, and this was the one that I really didn't know at all. And Pat calls this the best album of the entire decade. Yes, of the 1980s. This is his favorite album, and that is Earthshaker by Y&T. Got to tell you, I liked it. Well, obviously, I liked the album. I ordered it, but the closing track, it's a power ballad, but it's not a sappy power ballad. It's done very well. Really like it. Thank you for the recommendation, Pat. Speaking of recommendations from Pat, he also turned me on to Eloy, fine prog rock band from Germany. Last month, if you saw in my October finds, I bought these 5 albums by Eloy, but now I've also got Planets and Colors. I like all 7 of these albums. These guys have been around since the mid-70s. Missed out on them completely. I have 2 more on the way now. So I'm not sure how many studio albums they have. They've got to be 20 or something. That's only going to get me like halfway there. So staying in the prog rock. Boy, this is a lot of prog rock here. Prog rock genre. We've got Lunatic Soul and their latest album, The World Under Unsun, U-N-S-U-N. If you know who Riverside are, Polish prog rock band, leader of their band. This is his side project. I think this is the 8th album by Lunatic Soul. I'll say this, if you got a couple Lunatic Soul albums, you probably have all you need. I don't hear a lot of difference from one album to the other. So, and this is a long listen. This is 2 CDs. This is a total of an hour and a half. Yes, 89 minutes and 36 seconds. I don't think his albums need to be that long. Staying in the prog rock genre still. Aggro Pelter. I looked it up to see what that meant, and I can't remember now. This is the album Book of Hours. Really like the music. But the problem is, that's all there is music. I like vocals. I'm not a big fan of all instrumentals. I realize prog rock has a lot of long instrumental sections and passages, which is fine because I know the vocals are coming. But here, they never show up. I wish these guys would get a singer. You know what? I'm still sticking with Pat at Close to the Edge because he loves Deep Purple. And these books are actually pretty good books. Great little reference points. This is Deep Purple from 1984 on, all the way up to their most recent album, Equal Plus One. Is it Equal Plus One or Equal One? I forget the title. Yeah, it's just Equal One. This starts with their reunion right there, Perfect Strangers. I love that album. I think it's the best reunion album ever. Even though Pat loves Deep Purple, he's not a big fan of that album. But each to their own. Then we have. It took me a long time to get into The Wall, and then they followed it up with Final Cut. So I was like, okay, Pink Floyd, I don't even know you anymore. But I got this because I have grown to appreciate The Wall more now than I did when it initially came out, and really even for the 40 years that followed. It's only really been in the last couple of years that I can bring myself to listen to The Wall repeatedly during the course of the year. And this is The Wall Live. Is there anybody out there? Pink Floyd, 1980, 81. Little kind of box set. Speaking of box sets, this is for Randy Nelson, the world's biggest Who fan. And the box set, Who Are You? And yes, because it is required by international law, Steven Wilson had his hand in the remixing of this. So, what do you get here? You got 7 CDs and a very nice book. Nice thick book. And some of the bonus stuff here is you get the Live USA Tour 1979. That takes up 2 full discs. Long show. Then you also get them at Shepperton in 77 and Shepperton in 78 and 79. You get the original album. You get the Glenn Johns mix. And then you get the Steven Wilson. So, there you go. That takes care of the first half of November. So, yeah, I guess I will do 2 this month. Thank you for the inspiration, Brian. And thank you for watching.